Hey, I'm Ren. Welcome to my channel. So after a battle of the ages on that poll I put out, looks like we're gonna be building Welt today. Am I excited or terrified? Why not both? Welt Yang, real name that, the seasoned member of the Astral Express and previous sovereign of Anti-Entropy. A hero who crossed universes and galaxies, who is currently the old wise man that we talk to throughout our journey across the stars. I don't really know if I did him justice or not, but I hope you guys don't mind this build too much. I did my best to capture his abilities in this video, and I have to warn you guys, I've never played Honkai Impact or followed it, so my interpretation of him is very limited to what's been revealed in Star Rail only. But anyway, as all these videos go, we do need to set up the groundworks for building him. We'll need his race, class, ability scores, background feats, languages and proficiencies, magic equipment, and then we can write a little fun story for him to fit him into the D&D world. So now that's all settled, let's move on to the actual video now. I hope you guys like what I've made, and here's what I have for Welt Yang. We all agree he's human, right? I'm not saying this to be mean or anything, by the way. I just thought it was the most fitting for a character like him. Something simple and unassuming to hide his true power and nature. A race known for overcoming great obstacles and, within lore, coming from another world. Those who can adapt to any environment, yet have no true answer to their history, their culture and life, yet are seen as pretty average to others. It kind of fits the vibe of Welt and his existence pretty well, if you ask me. Someone who just seems to be a simple old man who is actually more powerful than he actually seems. I also gave him the human variant specifically because it's a better pick for humans, and I really like it. Moving on to classes, I didn't really need to look too far into it because I kind of knew what I was looking for. An intelligent man with the power of a black hole at the palm of his hands. I immediately went to snooping around the wizard class and landed on graviturgy magic. It's not perfect, but it's close enough to what his abilities are. You can manipulate the weight of an object or creature, either making them lighter or heavier, which can change many aspects about them, such as their speed and the height they jump. And you can manipulate the gravity around a living being as well, moving them 5 feet into an unoccupied space of your choosing. There's also some other spells too, at higher levels, one of them which can seem pretty much like a black hole if you squint at it enough. I'm just saying if you get high enough in level. Well, actually, it might be painful to play at that level, so never mind. I'll find some spells which can replace that entirely. Moving on to ability scores, I'd say his highest should be his intelligence, then wisdom. I'd then go into constitution, charisma, strength, and then dexterity. Again, I don't know enough about him in Honkai Impact, but that's just kind of what I'm getting from him. For background, I kind of went with the one that felt right for him, and I went with folk hero. As a character who has saved another world before, it would be a shame not to bring it up at some point, though I might need to flavor it very differently, to give him the praise he truly deserves without turning him into an overpowered Mary Sue in the campaign. For feats, he has 2 in particular I thought would make sense for him, and would probably flavor his backstory very interestingly. First being Historian, as it gives him an increase in intelligence, while also offering him proficiency or double proficiency in history checks. You can also use the help action to aid in ability checks using your knowledge in history, so long as the creature or person understands you. It kind of is how Welt works during the game as well, giving you information and advice through the new worlds that you explore. It suited him pretty well. I also gave him the skilled feat, to give him more proficiencies just because it made sense for him to have all these different proficiencies as he's an experienced adventurer, which is also a great segue to the next part of the video, languages and proficiencies. I gave him knowledge in primordial language because I don't know, I just felt like it made him more mysterious and cool. If you guys have a better choice, let me know. For proficiencies, I first gave him the ability to use painter and calligraphy supplies, because I had heard that he was a mangaka before. They were the closest I could use to reference that side of him. I also gave him proficiencies in investigation, perception, and insight, as a diligent member of the Astral Express and his previous work in saving the world. Of course, I also gave him proficiency in history as well, and I also threw in Arcana, because, well, he used to be nigh a god, so... Anyway, moving on to magic, here's what I have recommend for him. First things first, for his cantrips, I gave him Disarm as a reference to how we first met him, when he knocked out the Trailblazer. Really, that's the only reason why I gave him that. Next, I gave him Mind Sliver as a damage cantrip to keep on him, if needed. Next, I gave him Guiding Hand, cause I can see him having it for the purposes of exploring the world and guiding his team members to safety. Also, I gave him Magnify Gravity as a nice reference to his ultimate. Not as powerful as a level 14 spell, but honestly, no one ever needs to get to level 14 anyway. No one ever wants to play the game at level 14. Also, I gave him Shield as a wizard because all spellcasters need to protect themselves. And I added Undermine Armor as well, mainly because he's a Nihility character, and it's pretty similar to how the path is supposed to work. I also gave him Earthbind as another spell, similar to a Graviturgy Mage, and also added Sending as a spell. Cause you know, the dad of the group needs to check up on his kids one way or another. I almost forgot, I also gave him Magic Missile, as a reference to his skill, maybe, you know. As for equipment, I'd recommend giving him a cane. That really is all I wanted to add. I gave him a cane and nothing else. I don't know, maybe I should have added some other things as well, but I really don't know much about what I could give him as equipment. Maybe I'd give him a special thing that he hides in his cane as a reference to the Star of Eden. You know, a tiny detail. But really, that is all I can give you when it comes to Welt. He's a pretty straightforward character to build. Little did I know, I genuinely thought I'd have to bend every part of his build to make it work, but it seems as if he's being very kind to me. As for his backstory though, well, I'll let you decide if it's a good story or not. I hope you like it either way though. Here's what I gave him. Many stories have been told about the great heroes of old, of a white-haired maiden who took on a vicious creature from beyond the stars and saved the world with her ultimate act of good faith to this world. He remembered them vividly in his mind. Good heroes, brave and kind, beloved heroes, how they banded together to save the world from destruction, and how once peace finally was granted to them, he finally found himself able to breathe once again. Those stories that seemed to astound people, they slowly began to become distant memories to him. Those brave and wonderful people, that grand adventure he had taken part in to save the world. He had grown old, a little weary over time. He spent many years living in a simple house at the edge of a village, raising his young son on his own as years seemed to flash before his eyes. As his son grew old enough to go out into the world on his own, he couldn't help but feel restless. Was this how his story is going to end? Old and tired, never to live another grand adventure again. No, how could he accept something like that? And that was when he received a letter from an old acquaintance of his, telling him about an incident that happened during his travels. He had once lost an apprentice to an unwinnable battle to a knight cloaked in darkness. She had sacrificed herself to prevent the night from rising again, and he was not there to save her. That girl in the picture, she looked like the spitting image of the apprentice he had lost all those years ago. This had to be some kind of sick joke, didn't it? Yet he couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't a lie. All these years and he could see her face again. That girl he had failed to protect. If there was any truth in this, he had to find out himself. Packing his belongings into a bag, he left a letter on the kitchen table for his son to find, telling him that he'll be gone for some time. He needed to find out the truth of this matter, and find out if that acquaintance of his was spitting falsehoods or not. And maybe he'll indulge himself in his own fantasies again too. Maybe he might be able to play a hero again, just a split moment in time. you might just feel young again. And that's the end of that. Hope you guys don't mind it too much. I didn't want to linger too long on this story. But yeah, that's what I have for Welt here. A quick video for a character that was quite fun to build. I'm actually learning a lot more about D&D through these videos, and I'm having quite a lot of fun with it, mixing and matching things to create characters that I'm aiming to create. Maybe I'm being a little overly confident here, but I really like doing this, and I'm glad to see that there are people out there that enjoy these videos as well. Anyway, no need to be too sappy right now, right? Thank you for joining me here today, and I hope I've done right by you guys. Like and subscribe if you like, and I hope to see you guys next time. Take care.